Hello and welcome to the 2026 UNCW Student Government Election Debate. I'm your host and president of TealTV, Tucker Hall. Tonight we've gathered 3 candidates from each respective leading administration in the upcoming 2026 election. They will be asked a set of pre-written questions. Candidates will be given 90 seconds to answer each question and 45 seconds to rebuttal if they want to respond to a claim made by their opponents. Candidates will be fact-checked as well. Our moderator tonight is Lee Danks, president of the Dialectic and Ethicos Parliamentary Society at UNCW, a debate society here on campus. He will be getting us started. Thank you.
Thank you, Tucker. Candidates, before we get into our opening statements, would you mind telling the audience your name, grade, major, and one fun fact about yourself starting on this end?
Hi Seahawks, my name is Rusha Naranjo and I am an incoming junior here at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. My major is Public Policy and Administration, which is a new program which will be coming to UNCW this summer. And my minors are Campaign Management and Political Entrepreneurship and Leadership. And a fun fact about myself is that my favorite music artist is Don Toliver.
Hey everybody, my name is Zoe Phillips. I am a junior currently. I'm going to be a senior next year. And I am a public health major with a concentration in global health, and my minor is political entrepreneurship and leadership. And a fun fact about myself is that I'm classically trained in opera.
Hi Seahawks, my name is Jansen Huff and I'm running to be your next student body president. My current class standing is a sophomore, and I have spent 2 years in SGA, first as a freshman class senator, secondly as director of marketing for SGA. A fun fact about myself is that I have played piano since the age of 3, and I've played at Chancellor Valletti's house. My major is political science with minors in pre-law, leadership, and campaign management.
All right. Thank you all, and best of luck. Now for your opening statements. We'll start with Zoe for your opening statement. Time starts whenever you're ready.
So we are the Phillips Brady administration. We are running for the 2026-2027 elections, and we are HAWK, which is Harmony, Advocacy, Wholeness, and Known.
Now move on to Jansen, and your time will start whenever you're ready.
Yes, my name is Jansen Huff once again. My running mate is Kyra Stringfield. I currently serve as Director of Marketing for SGA's Executive Board, and Kyra currently serves as the President Pro Tempore for SGA. She's third in command. Our pillars this year, what we're running on is LEAD. That's listen, engage, act, and deliver. We think it's very important to listen to every single student here on campus, to engage with them, to hear their concerns, act upon those concerns, and deliver with results.
All right, thank you. And lastly, Rusha, time starts whenever you're ready.
Hi Seahawks, my name is Rusha Naranjo and my administration is the Naranjo-Grossheim administration. My running mate, her name is Laura Grossheim. She's an incoming senior, and our campaign slogan is "We'll serve so you can soar." SOAR stands for Student-Oriented Advocacy Representation. Now, what does that truly mean? Well, we want to orient our leadership into the student body to represent them as accurately and efficiently as possible so that we can advocate for every single Seahawk. We want no Seahawk to go unrepresented. So we want to represent you.
Thank you. Next question. Starting with Jansen, what makes your campaign different from your opponents? Time starts whenever you're ready.
Well, the major difference, what sets me apart from everyone on this stage is experience. I've served 2 years in SGA, first as a freshman class senator. I worked on legislation as a freshman alongside my peers, and I currently serve as director of marketing for SGA. We've had many opportunities this year, such as advocating on behalf of the student body. During the events of September, we released statements. We had a panel discussion with Chancellor Valetti, Dr. Christine Reed Davis, and Chief Brinkley. We've advocated on behalf of students in many ways, and we've had fun events for students as well, such as our Vintage Market, which I've spearheaded this past February. We also host fun events like Chats on Chancellors as well. All the social media accounts and all the posts that are put out on social media, I play a role in that.
Thank you. Now, next, on to Russia, same question. What makes your campaign different from your opponents?
I do love this question. I believe the Naranjo-Grossheim administration is completely different from my opponents, and I'll tell you exactly why. Laura Grossheim, my vice presidential candidate, and my running mate, together we have so much leadership experience. And leadership and advocacy are our truest passions, not because leadership looks good, but because we are leaders at heart. And we have the experience to lead this institution to greatness and to lead this institution to positivity. And we are prepared, we're ready, and we're excited for these roles. In addition to that, I served as the class of 2028's freshman class president last year in the Student Government Association. I'm also on the Chancellor Student Advisory Council and a current desk receptionist at Loggerhead, so if you recognize me from that, be sure to say hi again. I know I say hi to all of my residents there all the time. And I'm an incoming orientation leader. Leadership is my grandest passion, but on top of that, advocacy is what I bring to the table in any space I enter and every single endeavor that I pursue, no matter what. I like advocating for anybody that needs it or might not need it, might not know that they need it specifically. And I also like to bring justice to every space I enter as well.
Yeah. Made it just at the end of the time there. All right, and on to Zoe, same question. What makes your campaign different from your opponents?
Our campaign is different because Paul, starting off with my vice president, is really great at leadership. He really takes initiative, and honestly, he is my accountability buddy. He keeps me in check all the time, and I think he was the best partner that I could have asked for. And personally for me, I think that I have more of the empathy side. I have more of the talkative side. I just love to talk to people. I love to talk to students. I love to talk to faculty. And I think that every conversation we ever have, you need to learn something from. So whether that be from faculty or that is from students, we need to learn what each side wants, because if we don't work together to make this school great, it's not going to happen. We need to make sure that both student, faculty, staff, admin, all of us are on the same page, and we need to make sure that this school is being taken care of. And I think Paul and I are great at doing that for multiple different reasons, and we really are running on empathy and personal connections.
All right, thank you. Now I'll offer the option for rebuttals. Starting with Jansen, would you like to make a rebuttal to any of the claims you've heard?
Yes, I would like to just say that I think Kyra also brings tons of experience into SGA. She's also served for 2 years. We served alongside Russia as freshman class senators last year. That's actually where Kyra and I met, was at a freshman senate retreat last year. Kyra is also an RA on campus. She serves on the Chancellor's Advisory Council as well. She's a wonderful student advocate, and she can't wait to be your vice president.
Thank you. Then, Russia, would you like to make any rebuttals to the claims you've heard?
Sure.
All right.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a rebuttal, but perhaps a correction. I was the freshman class president last year, and I really loved my experience doing that, though I would just like to clarify that.
All right, thank you. And Zoe, would you like to make any other statements?
Absolutely. I would like to mention that everybody on this stage has leadership experience, and we're all very qualified for this, and every single candidate that is running we're great candidates to be running, and we're good hands to have the school in.
All right, thank you. Next question, we'll start with Russia. What changes to UNCW do you wish to see under your time as a member of the student government?
As the future student body president of the Student Government Association for the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, the Naranjo-Grossheim administration would like to bring plenty of changes, positive changes to this university. As an institution, this school has prioritized so so many different qualities onto its students that we would like to highlight, but we would also like to build on. A couple of those are student success, as well as student involvement. And that's something that Laura and I, my vice presidential candidate, would like to build on. We want to make sure that every student is aware of the opportunities they have here. We want to increase resources that they have here and the education of them. We want to help strengthen initiatives to digitalize one cards. It is a bit of a process, but we believe that we can make it happen with grit and determination that Laura and myself have. We also want to improve processes that students want. We want to be those people that they can reach out to. And most importantly, we want to make sure that every Seahawk knows that we are there for you. You want it, we're on it.
Right. Thank you. On to Zoe, same question. What changes to UNCW do you wish to see under your time as the president of the student government here?
As your president next year, I want to be able to make sure that we are communicating with students not only through social media or through like email. I want to make sure that we have a personal relationship. I know from the beginning of this, I had talked to Paul, my vice president, about personally going out and tabling instead of just having other people in SGA doing that. Because even though our senators are great at that, I think we need to be able to have our leaders really just get out there and understand every single student on this campus, because sometimes it's hard. Some people aren't as involved, and some students just don't have whether it's time or they just don't want to get too involved and overwork themselves. You need to be able to reach out to them, and I think that's one thing that we want to see change in is leadership talking to students. And I think Paul and I are both going to make a huge effort to know students personally.
Thank you. And Jansen, same question. What changes to UNCW do you wish to see under your time as the president of the student government?
So Kyra and I have actually talked about this since October, is when we began talking about running together. There are many things that I could talk about all night that we could start from day one. But some top initiatives that we have are a pedestrian bridge across College Road from Park and Ride to the campus of UNCW. I would also like to see a RSO connection to all of our student leaders here on campus. I feel like Skylar and Barrett have done a phenomenal job of building a bridge to administration. But we could work on building that building that connection with RSOs on campus and the actual students here on campus, building that relationship. I would love to sit down with every single RSO president and speak about their clubs or their organizations, and to understand what they're coming from and how we can help them. I would also love to see traditions on campus. I think we have plenty of traditions on campus, but nothing set in stone like the other universities. I'm not trying to be Chapel Hill, I'm not trying to be NC State, but I would love to see some traditions on campus. Our administration, Skylar and Barrett, have done a phenomenal job once again, but I think that traditions on campus would be fundamental for this university. Also, just to clarify on the digitalization of one cards, that's been an initiative that SGA has been working on for a number of years now. That's in the workings. It's actually something that Kyra and I have been working on for quite some time now. So stay tuned to that in the future. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And then we'll offer the opportunity for rebuttals, starting with Russia. Would you like to make any rebuttals?
Sure.
All right.
Once again, my name is Russia Naranjo, and I am very delighted to be here. And I'd also just like to thank both of y'all for how great y'all are speaking here today. I know it's a little bit different in this space. And I'd also like to thank you for what you said about how all three of us have leadership experience. That was very sweet of you, and I really appreciate that. The three of us have lots of SGA experience, but only one of us has served as in a presidential position in SGA already on this stage, and that is me. I was the freshman class president last year, and in my time as freshman class president, I got to be the vice chair for 2 semesters for the marketing committee under last year's director of marketing,
I'll let you finish that thought, Barry.
Holden Sorensen. That'll be it.
All right, thank you. move on to Zoe. Would you like to make any rebuttals?
Absolutely.
All right.
I would like to say that even though I have only been an at-large senator and switched to junior class senator, that I have still made some changes. We have been working on international mentorship, and we have really focused on student success. And even though some of us haven't been in a presidential position, we still are strong and we still do lead, even in different ways. And I think that even as vice chair for 2 semesters as well for the Student Services Committee, we have done so much work for the school, and we really hope to continue seeing it no matter who the presidential candidate ends up being.
All right. Thank you. And Jansen, would you like to make rebuttals?
Not a rebuttal, but I just wanted to inform the voters that no, I haven't served in a position in SGA at the University of North Carolina, but I did serve as student body president in my high school. I served as a state representative at the North Carolina Association of Student Councils all throughout high school. That's a presidential role that I've always had. I also wanted to clarify that I'm the only candidate on this stage that has served as an executive board member of SGA.
All right. Thank you. Moving on to the next question. What do you think that the SGA can do better, starting with Zoe?
I think that SGA really needs to work on organization. We have a few committees that don't have much reign over many resources, and when Paul and I first started talking about running, we wanted to work on the organization because we want to make sure that we run just as good inside as well as we do outside. And we want to give our senators, our senatorial board, our exec board, all the chance to make change no matter what position they are in, because that's what SGA is here for. Our student government is here to make change no matter how small or how big your part is. We are all here to help the student body.
All right. Thank you. Jansen, same question. What do you think the SGA can do better?
I think we can reach out to students better. I think that's something that we have worked on in our administration already. Our numbers have increased tremendously as I took the role of director of marketing, but there's always room for improvement. If we can reach every single student, I think that would be fantastic for the university. That's why I plan on partnering with RSOs to meet with each and every single one of those RSOs to make sure that we're hearing every voice on campus. Thank you.
Thank you. And Russia, same question. What do you think the SGA can do better?
The first thing that comes to mind for this question and what SGA can do better, not just better, but what I feel like SGA will do better moving forward, is education. And by education, I mean educating the entire student body on what SGA does. People think SGA is a club, but the Student Government Association is an organization that allocates so much money to all RSOs, like Jansen mentioned. And for anyone who's watching this, RSO stands for Registered Student Organization, for those of you who aren't aware of that abbreviation, excuse me. But the Naranjo-Grossheim administration really wants to highlight all the resources available to students here by furthering education on what SGA does, what the processes are like, and what we do and what we can do and what we will do for the student body.
All right. Thank you. Now we'll offer the opportunities for extra statements, starting with Zoe.
I think that we definitely do need to work on our communication with the students, and I think that's a big point for all of us. Ever since we've had situations on campus, it's been very not peaceful, and one of our big pillars is harmony, and that was one of my choices for our administration, because I believe that we need peace on campus, and I want the unity we used to have, and I want everybody to be able to get along the way we used to.
Thank you. Jansen, would you like to make any additional statements?
I would just love to agree with Zoe on that last fact. I think it's a shame that we had to go through what we did in September, but that's why SGA stood up for every single student on campus. I'm so fortunate enough to have served in that administration that advocated on behalf of all students here on UNCW's campus during the events of September.
Thank you. And Russia, would you like to make any additional statements?
Certainly.
Mhm.
I know that this is a presidential candidate debate, but I want to highlight my vice president candidate, Laura Grossheim. Laura is one of the most well-rounded people I have ever met. You might recognize her from being an RA in Schwartz Hall last year or in Tri-House this year. Not only has she been an RA, she's been an orientation leader, and she is the president of the Order of Omega at the moment, which is the Greek Life Honor Society. I could truly go on about all her leadership roles that have equipped her to be the student body vice president, but she is truly ready and prepared to hold this position, as am I. Again, I was the freshman class president last school year, and while I haven't served on SGA this school year, that has left me opportunity for other roles, such as being the historian for the UNCW Phi Alpha Delta chapter. I'm ready to serve for you.
All right, thank you. We'll go on to the next question, starting with Jansen. With the Spirit Rock incident last September, how would you address political tensions on campus in the future?
Well, not to make a joke out of the subject matter, but I would love to see that rock gone. I think a lot of students on campus would agree with me on that. But if it had to stay, I think the policy that we have in place is what we need, the board next to the rock. Once again, I've said this before, but the current administration that I serve in as of today, we advocated on behalf of students during that event. I was up at 1 in the morning making those statements released online that students saw firsthand. That's when we got the most views on our Instagram page. I think students finally recognized who SGA was and what we do after those events. And it is so unfortunate that they had to learn that way. But nonetheless, they knew who we were and the impacts that we had on the student body.
All right, thank you. Russia, same question. With the Spirit Rock incident last September, how would you address political tensions on campus in the future?
To address political tensions on campus moving forward, the Naranjo Grossheim administration wants to emphasize the freedom of expression, but we also want to emphasize university policy and general politeness and cordiality, if that's a word, being cordial with one another. I have to disagree with Jansen. I would love to keep the rock where it is. We actually have two. There's another one in front of WAG and in front of veterans, I believe. The rock is an amazing resource for registered student organizations to express club meetings or just, highlight their club. And, people go about their time here wondering what they can be a part of and what can give them security, what can give them a family here on campus. And I feel like that rock is an integral part of that. But the Naranjo Grossheim administration, to go back to the question at hand, would make sure that policy would be enforced. And we have a good policy now, thanks to Stein Butler.
Yeah.
So that's my response.
All right, thank you. And then Zoe, same question. With the Spirit Rock incident last September, how would you address political tensions moving forward?
Obviously, this is a very popular question. Everybody is wondering it. I've been asked this on a lot of occasions. My biggest thing about this entire incident is we, as students, lacked respect for each other. And a part of the harmony part of our pillars is we need to have respect for every single student, no matter what opinion we have, no matter how we disagree, because we're gonna disagree. We are people, and people do not have the same opinions. And I think the biggest thing about that is learning how to respect your peers, because when we're going through tense situations like this, we need to remember that we're all people at the end of the day. No matter what you stand for, you matter. And we might not agree with each other, but everybody has different opinions for a reason, or else we would not be a diverse society. And I think moving forward with political tensions, hopefully we won't have any more. I am begging for us not to have any more, but I just want to make sure that our administration would actively vocalize how much respect is important and to show the policies that we have in place so that we can express freedom of expression.
Thank you. We'll offer the opportunity for additional statements, starting with Jansen.
Yeah, I did want to clarify I'm not anti-free expression. I do wholeheartedly believe in free expression. I believe that our current administration has done a phenomenal job of making sure that every student's voice is heard. And like I said before, I'm honored to serve alongside Schuyler and Barrett so students can have that option.
All right, thank you. Russia, would you like to make additional statements?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Again, the Naranjo-Grossheim administration's slogan is "We'll serve so you can soar." And what does that truly mean? It means that Laura Grossheim and I will serve as your student body president and vice president so that you can feel advocated for fully by us. We're the only ticket that are two female candidates running together. And honestly, I feel like it would be amazing to see that. We haven't seen that in quite a couple years. Additionally, we want to make sure, going back to the Spirit Rock question, which I love that question actually, we want to make sure that in times where people feel divided, the Naranjo-Grossheim administration can ensure that we will put the unity in community, specifically the Seahawk community, because we are here to advocate for you.
All right, thank you. And Zoe, would you like to make any additional statements?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I would love to say that with everything that happened, I do truly feel for everybody that's been involved, no matter which side we're on. I do want to say that I also am really happy to be a part of the Butler-Stein administration and to work with Jansen. I unfortunately didn't get the opportunity to work with Russia, but Jansen has done really good with making sure that we are marketing well, and I can guarantee it was hard to write those posts. So I do want to say that I'm truly happy to be a part of the administration and how we've done, and that's a great example of how I can serve Seahawks in the future.
All right, thank you. So we'll move on to the next question. If you had to describe your leadership style, what would it be, starting with Russia?
If I had to describe my leadership style, I think the main phrase or word that I would use is advocacy and justice. Those are my greatest passions, and they always have been. I always bring advocacy and justice to each space that I enter and each endeavor I pursue, whether that's the internship I held for 4 years with Mayor Jacques Gilbert of Apex, North Carolina, an internship program where we advocated for every resident of the town of Apex and did what they wanted to see, or whether that be through my current internship at a law firm downtown called the Law Group. I make sure that my leadership is demonstrated by advocacy. I bring advocacy to the table, and I'm ready to bring it to UNCW.
All right, thank you. Zoe, same question. If you had to describe your leadership style, what would it be?
I would say empathetic personally. Paul is different, and I think that's why we work so well together, is I am the very emotional and very community-oriented leader, while he is more of the organizational and the procedure of leadership. And I think that you need both to run, no matter what organization you're in, because you need to be able to understand the people you're working with, whether that is just in an organization that works with just the other members of that, or whether it is something like SGA where we work with students, faculty, staff, and we are that bridge between, and we really need to understand others, but we also need to have that organizational and the practical outlook that is going to help us run and operate the way we need to. I would say that our leadership does mesh well, and I am proud to be running beside Paul Brady.
Thank you. And Jansen, same question. If you had to describe your leadership style, what would it be?
Punctual and organized. I'm not a person to sugarcoat things. I'm not a person to get frustrated or flustered. I make sure that everything is done properly and it has its place. You can ask anyone in SGA and I'm sure they would back that up. I also wanted to touch on what Zoe said. My vice presidential pick, she keeps me level-headed, I can assure you. She's a wonderful pick, and I can agree with Zoe on the things that she said about Paul.
Thank you. We'll move on to the opportunity for additional statements, starting with Russia.
Where can I start? Again, I'd like to emphasize how important the UNCW Seahawk experience is to myself and Laura, my vice presidential candidate. The Seahawk experience comes down to whether students are content here and whether students feel safe and whether students feel happy. This institution is the best institution I ever could have chosen to pursue my undergraduate degree at, but that's my experience. I have found places that I can call home here. I've found people that I can relate to and call my best friends. But I want to make sure every Seahawk can have that too. We want to build community here, and we want to emphasize unity. We want to serve so Seahawks can soar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Zoe, would you like to make any additional statements?
Yes. I would like to say that with community and being brought up as a UNCW Seahawk, it was hard when I first got here. I was I was kind of a loner. I didn't really talk to people, but SGA is where I found my family. And I'm super happy in that. Obviously, that's not for everybody, but I think with community, it is really important. And Paula and I are striving to get those personal relationships so that we can build community and help lead people where they need to go, because most people don't know. And with me, when I first got here, I wasn't expecting to be where I am now, but I'm glad to be where I am now. And it took me a little bit to get there.
All right, thank you. And Jansen, would you like to make any additional statements?
I have no rebuttal. Thank you.
All right, then we will move on to the next question. How will you work with other organizations and students on campus, starting with Zoe?
Again, I am really on the personal side. I want to make sure that we have those relationships. I feel like I've made that a point, so I can move on to the more practical side of it. With organizations, we really want to make sure we're helping out with funding, and we really want to make sure that we hear the organizations. So far, we've talked to quite a few organizations, and a lot of them are wanting different things, and the best way that we can help them is by communicating between the admin and the organization and the staff that runs. With organizations, it's specialized to each individual one, and you need to know which ones you are talking to and how to work with each individual organization so that you can help them thrive in the best way possible. I want to make sure that we know what is going on and we know how to help absolutely anybody we possibly can.
Thank you. Jansen, same question. How will you work with other organizations and students on campus?
Well, I've touched on this in the debate already, but I would love to see that connection made between registered student organizations. Thank you, Russia, for pointing that out. But to build that connection between RSOs and make sure that I'm meeting with the people in those elected positions to where I can advocate on their behalf within SGA. I think that's the best way to make that connection. I think it's the best way to partner with the RSOs. Just go firsthand into the office where they're located and speak to the people that we need to talk to that make things happen.
Thank you. And then Russia, same question. How will you work with other organizations and students on campus?
The Naranjo-Grossheim administration is actually very excited about this question, more specifically myself, because I'm the one speaking here. But we want to emphasize the true importance of communication. And by that, I mean open communication. Laura and I are running to be your next student body president and vice president, but that's not a title to us. It's a role that we have been preparing for our entire lives. We are very well versed in leadership, not just because we can be, but because that's who we are. And to connect with students and organizations on campus alike, we want to be able to hold something like open office hours, where anybody can come speak to us and address their concerns directly, not just give them our emails and have students hope that we answer them or solve their problems. We want to be face-to-face with them, and we want to bring real advocacy to every Seahawk through our administration, the Naranjo-Grossheim administration.
Thank you. We'll offer the opportunity for additional comments, starting with Zoe.
I would like to mention that we definitely have had people come into the office and talk to us. I've seen plenty of students come in, especially this year, I think right after everything happened with the rock and also with all of the political climate that we have had on campus. We've definitely had students come in and talk to us, and we always welcome that. And I want to make sure every student knows that no matter what administration is in office, that we are open to talking to students. That's what we're here for.
Thank you. Jansen, would you like to make any additional comments?
I would just say that that is a wonderful idea, Russia, but it already exists. It's something that we've already had options for since student government has been available to the student body. I believe that any student can come into the SGA office at any time and give their input. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I had a quick rebuttal, if that's all right.
Yeah.
The reason I mentioned office hours as a new idea is because most of the student body doesn't know that they can do that. That's why I want to hold a new formal way for students to come and speak to me and Laura or the future administration. Just because, again, on my point earlier, we want to further the education to the student body of what resources they have, and SGA is one of their biggest resources. And we want to be that for students.
Thank you. Would you like to make?
Yeah, could I have a rebuttal?
I'll give you, say, 15 seconds.
Great, I'll make it quick.
Yep.
That's why, as director of marketing, I've made posts to make sure that students know that they are definitely available to come into the SGA office. Those posts are out and they're available to every student at UNCW. Thank you.
Right, thank you. All right, with that, we'll move on to the next question. We'll start with Jansen. What is one or two of your biggest platforms as a candidate?
Well, I've already covered that in our opening statements, but our platform is LEAD, that's listen, engage, act, and deliver. I think the two out of those pillars that I would choose is act and deliver. That's what makes things happen. We have to put those concerns that students have given to us into action and deliver with actual results.
Thank you. Russia, same question. What is one or two of your biggest platforms as a candidate?
As a candidate to be your next student body president, I would say that the Naranjo-Grossheim administration has many platforms. One of those being our slogan, again, will serve so you can soar. And SOAR, to remind everybody, stands for Student-Oriented Advocacy Representation. We want to make sure that every single Seahawk knows that they can come to us. We don't just want to acquire these roles respectively. We want to fulfill them to our best ability. And we want to be authentic because that's who we are.
Yeah.
It's not just a title. It's not just something you can put on your resume like a lot of people think it is. It's an opportunity for Laura Grossheim and myself, Russia Naranjo, to forward a hand to the student body for advocacy and for representation that we will fulfill for the student body.
All right, thank you. And Zoe, same question. What is one or two of your biggest platforms as a candidate?
As I mentioned before, the Phillips-Brady administration would be really focused on harmony, advocacy, wholeness, and known. My biggest pillars out of that would have to be advocacy, because obviously that's what we're all here for. I think that's going to be our pillar for everything. no matter who is running, we're always going to want advocacy because that is literally our job. But on top of that, known is my personal favorite. Known covers so many different things, and I think diversity is the best way to put that. To be diverse isn't just one thing or another, it's all. It is to make sure that we have so many different kinds of people on this campus and so many different kinds of students, no matter where they come from or who they are. And I really think that's important, especially for our administration, because we really want to advocate for all kinds of students, whether they're a part of an organization or not. And I think the best way we can do that is by reaching out to all students. And known is definitely my favorite for that exact reason.
Thank you. We'll move on to the opportunity for additional statements, starting with Jansen.
No additional statements.
All right. Russia, would you like to make any additional statements?
Certainly.
All right.
So many things I'd like to say. Let me hone in on the unity aspect that I talked about earlier. Oh, excuse me. In times of division, in times of separation amongst one another, in times of polarization, unity is the key thing that will pull everyone together as an institution, as a student body, or even within each class, no matter what year you are, no matter if you're a graduate student here. We believe that the Naranjo-Grossheim administration can and will unify students here. That would create a more positive space for Seahawks to want to embrace themselves and embrace their futures here.
Thank you. And Zoe, would you like to make any additional statements?
No additional statements.
All right, then we'll move on.
I do have a question.
Right.
Is unity part of your platform? Russia, is that one of your pillars?
Certainly. Not one of our pillars as part of SOAR, but
Right.
it's certainly something that the Naranjo-Grossheim administration wants to advocate for in terms of our campaign.
Great, thank you for the clarification.
Of course.
All right. With that, we'll move on to the next question. We'll start with Russia. What is your plan of action with enacting goals as set forth in your campaign?
Could you repeat that question?
What is your plan of action with enacting the goals that you have set forth in your campaign?
The Naranjo-Grossheim's plan of action is pretty diverse. And by diverse, I mean we want to basically have all hands on deck. And that means not only will Laura and I work together as the administration that we will be, but we will work towards being on the same page with all of the Student Government Association. A lot of the times people refer to SGA as Senate, but not everybody knows that because not everybody is in SGA. And we want to make sure people are aware of terminology that SGA might use that the average student who doesn't know these things, so they can be aware of things like that. We just want to make sure that things that students want are attainable. We want to make those things attainable. The Naranjo-Grossheim administration will meet with necessary university leadership in order to fully, truly, and authentically advocate for every single Seahawk. If you're watching this, we want to advocate for you. You are our plan, and we're ready.
Thank you. Zoe, same question. What is your plan of action with enacting the goals set forth in your campaign?
Our plan of action has already started. We knew from the beginning that not only a year is enough, and honestly, if any of our administrations could, we would serve the rest of our lives. We truly care about the students or we wouldn't be doing this. I will say that so far we have already started talking to the organizations that we have had in our pillars from the beginning, and we've started to try and work on the things that we want to have done, whether that's restructuring or it is something that is in communication between the organizations, because again, whether or not we are in office, which we plan to be, we're going to get these things done. We are here for the students and we really want to do this no matter what the circumstances, and we will continue to strive and push for it no matter what.
Thank you. Jansen, same question. What is your plan of action with enacting the goals set forth in your campaign?
Well, not only on day one, but Kyra and I have already started talking about this back in October once again. But we've started fulfilling roles for cabinet members. We've started planning and puzzle piecing members of SGA that are currently in SGA that can fulfill those executive and senatorial roles. Obviously, we haven't went up to them and discussed that with them, but we have already started piecing that together. I think that's how you have the best SGA, the best Senate, is to make sure that you have the correct people in the roles that can fulfill the job and do the job correctly. And once again, that's what we started on in October, and that's what we're continuing to do to this day. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll offer the opportunity for any additional statements, starting with Russia.
I had a question for Jansen Huff.
You can ask that, yeah.
Am I good to ask a
You
question?
can do that, yeah.
Wonderful. Like you mentioned just now, which I think it's wonderful that yourself and Kyra have began to kind of plan next year. What about people that haven't been on SGA before, or on SGA right now? Have you considered them?
Oh, absolutely. That's why we can't make a decision until we have all the applications in. We will review every application that comes to our table, but you still have to think ahead. Thank you.
Of course.
Right. Thank you. Zoe, would you like to make any additional statements?
No additional statements.
And Jansen, would you like to add anything?
No, thank you.
All right, well, in that case, then we will move on to our closing statements, starting with Russia. What would you like to end off with?
If I want to make one thing clear to everybody in the student body, it's that the Naranjo-Grossheim administration will not only work for you, but we will be alongside you. We are not going to be holding these positions for our best interest, but we'll be holding them for your best interest, because that's who we are. We are true advocates at heart, and we are ready for these roles, and we are excited. On top of all of that, we're people too, we're students too. It's not like we're up here and you're here just because we'll hold these positions. We're just like you, except we're ready to represent you in the best ways that we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vote Naranjo-Grossheim.
Okay, on to Zoe. What closing statements would you like to make to the audience?
I would like to emphasize that, again, we are the Phillips Brady administration, and we are going to help the students. And I want to make sure every student knows that they can always come to us no matter what happens, and you can reach out to not only the SGA Instagram or the SGA email, you can also reach out to us personally, because yeah, we are people. We are people too, and we are students, and we're also going through what it's like to be a college student. Every single world in a university is different, whether it is students, whether it is faculty, whether it's staff, admin. We're all different, and we need to find a way to bridge those gaps, because we are all people too. We are not just students or faculty or staff. We are people, and we need to make sure that we are getting somewhere with our education and our university, because we all want UNCW to be great. We all want UNCW to be the school that it can be, and the Phillips Brady administration will do that.
Thank you. And Jansen, what closing statements would you like to make to the audience?
Yes, well, first, thank you, TealTV, and thank you, Lee, for moderating this debate. I think this is very beneficial to the student body. And I think after this debate, the choice is very clear. Kyra and I bring the most experience to this role. I'm the only candidate on this platform that has served on the executive board. Kyra is the most qualified for vice presidential pick. She is third in command of SGA currently as president pro tempore. She knows everything about statutes, everything about our bylaws. She is the lady for the job, I can assure you. I also believe that if you have any questions, we would love to hear them. You can send them to HuffStringfield26 on Instagram and follow our account as well. And I would love to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we conclude, would any of you like to make any additional statements?
I would just like to thank both of you for being here tonight. You guys did a wonderful job, and I appreciate you being here tonight. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Jansen.
Yeah.
You did such a great job, and so
Thanks.
did you, Zoe.
Yeah.
This has been so much fun. And I'd also like to thank TealTV for having us today. Is this the first presidential candidate debate ever? I believe so.
Yeah.
Ever since 1947. I think that's amazing, and I'm very proud to be here today alongside such well-rounded candidates. And I would just like to say how grateful I am to be a Seahawk and to be standing on this stage at the moment. I am still shocked that this is happening, and I'm very happy. And yeah, vote Naranjo Grossheim on Monday, March 16th. And you can also reach out to us on our Instagram. We just got verified, which is really cool. And as I'm speaking, last time I checked, which is around an hour ago, we have close to 400 followers so far, and we're hoping to grow that number past into our administration as well. So thank you, everybody, for your time, and we'll serve so you can soar.
I would like to also say thank you to everybody that's been a part of this, not only TealTV, but also everybody in SGA. Everybody's been super supportive. Everybody in the student body has been super supportive. Even just talking to people on the side of chancellors, everybody has listened. I was waiting for it to be where like the students are kind of like, don't talk to me, because that happens sometimes. But everybody has been really open to the election, and I am super happy and super thankful for everything that's been going on. And I do want to say that I am super happy to be running against such qualified candidates as well, because this is a good election. This is going to be one for the books, and I'm excited to be a part of that.
Thank you. Well, that concludes the debate. We have no further questions for the candidates, so we will now go back to Tucker to close us out.
Thanks, Lee. And thank you at home for your viewership as well. On behalf of TealTV, we hope this debate will help you come to a decision as to who you believe is the best candidate. We encourage you to go and vote in this election. You could go and vote through your student email. Voting will be open between March 16th at 9 a.m. and will close at Thursday, March 19th at 3 p.m. We want to give a special thanks to UNCW SGA, UNCW Dialect, and Ethicos Parliamentary Society, the Seahawk, Professor David Purnell, and the TealTV studio crew, and you at home for watching. Thank you, and have a great day, and be kind.